Hi, welcome to Highland Cottage Books. I'm Martha, and this is the Queen Mary 2. I'm on board this beautiful ship for the Literature Festival at sea, but I didn't want to miss out on the opportunity to tell you about a few Christmas books. So if you see me moving back and forth a little bit, it's because the seas are very rough today. The Gift by Frida McFadden is a modern-day spin on The Gift of the Magi by O. Henry. It won't make much sense if you haven't read that classic story, but if you haven't read it, it's the perfect opportunity to do so. It is a classic for a reason. In The Gift of the Magi, a young poor couple work hard to make each other's first Christmas together very special. In McFadden's Christmas story, a newlywed works at a diner to support her and her husband, who is currently in law school. They barely can keep a roof over their head, and so they've decided not to give each other expensive presents this year. However, she feels it's really important to show how much she loves him. In many ways, the gift remains very faithful to the original tale until it really, really, really doesn't. It's got a very fitting and fun ending, and throughout the story, there are peppered increasingly obvious references to a certain apropos 1990s alt-rock classic. Even if you're not a big Frida McFadden fan, if you like the original story, then you might want to give this one a try. Or if you're like me and you always thought that the original story was just a little bit cloying, then this will be right up your alley. In Christmas Presents by Lisa Unger, a bookstore owner receives anonymous gifts every year. She doesn't tell anybody about them because she believes that they are from her first and only love, a man who was a boy at the time. They were both in high school. He attacked her and left her for dead, and also is convicted for murdering her best friend right in front of her. He is not a good guy. And on that same fateful night right before Christmas, two other girls from their friend group disappeared and were never seen again. It's presumed that he committed that crime as well, but there's no evidence linking him directly to it. Christmas time is always fraught for our protagonist, but this year is especially difficult because her father is at home recovering from a stroke, and he is the former sheriff of the town. And a true crime podcaster has come in and has visited her bookshop, and he's interviewing witnesses, and he's trying to get to the bottom of what happened. He's even bought the family home of the two sisters who are missing. And on top of all of that, a new young woman seems to have been abducted. Though the story does take place during the festive season, it does not pull its punches, so I would check the trigger warnings. And coming in at 224 pages, it really packs a punch. In Lucky Girl, which is about 100 pages long, five strangers meet in a diner and end up spending Christmas together. They exchange little presents and end up telling ghost stories and getting to know each other. And even though it's a little bit awkward, our protagonist, Ro, decides that she wants to keep this tradition going. She's very much in search of finding a found family like the kind that she's seen on TV, because her own family was done away with horrifically around this time of year when she was a kid. And that's pretty much all I can tell you about the story without giving anything away. I am smiling because it is good. It is brutal, though, and it's nasty. And there are stories within stories and layers within layers. And even though it is little in word length, it is not little in scope, and it will have you stewing in your head for days. Canon Daniel Clement and the members of his village parish are back for a little holiday mayhem in Murder Under the Mistletoe. I believe this is the fourth in the stories, but it's okay if you haven't read them. You can just jump right in. I haven't read all of them. I've read the first one, and I recommend that one as well. Now, as I said, I'm on the Queen Mary 2 because of the Literature Festival at sea, and the Reverend Coles, who wrote this book, is one of its featured authors. Now, Coles himself has lived a fantastically interesting life, and before he was a man of the cloth, he was actually a pop star as a member of the Communards, which was a dance band in the 1980s. You might remember them from, they were a British band, so they were huge in Britain, a little less big in the United States, but you might remember them from Never Can Say Goodbye, no, 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 or Don't Leave Me This Way. Except imagine me as this blonde, ethereal Jimmy Somerville person singing at you. They were covers, they weren't the original, but I bet you've heard them. On this trip, he led a very fun Christmas Carol sing along that was very well attended. And he signed my book, and we had a really nice chat about our moms, of all things. Hi, Mom. In Murder Under the Mistletoe, Audrey, who is Daniel Clement's mother, and we are told very specifically that any resemblance that she might have to any other mothers in the world is purely coincidental. Anyway, Audrey is a very status conscious and social conscious person. She knows exactly what to wear, exactly how to speak. She's very set in her very specific strata of British society, and she knows how everybody should behave. And she's a formidable woman, and she has thoughts. She has thoughts. And in this book, she gets thrown into a bit of a tizzy because right before Christmas, she gets a call to inviting her to join the Lord's table for lunch. And when I say the Lord, I don't mean the divine one, I mean the local aristocratic one. And so all of her plans are thrown out the window. She was going to be hosting her sons and a few friends, but well, they got to go. Now, as the title suggests, there is a mystery, but it's really not the point of the story. You'll know pretty much who did it and how they did it. You may not know why until the end, but that's okay. There are so many laugh out loud moments in this book. My poor husband, because sorry for that. My poor husband, I was just reading on the ship and just stopping every 5 minutes and just reading bits out loud to him because I'm just snickering in the corner going, it was, man, this book is a comedy of ill manners, I suppose. Murder Under the Mistletoe is mostly spending a fun and awkward Christmas with good company and not so good company. And it's only a 3-star mystery, but it has 5-star vibes. And finally, my favorite book on this list is Benjamin Stevenson. Again, it's an Ernest Cunningham story. This time it's a Christmas story. I can't stop reading this man, and it is so, so good. This one, being a Christmas story, is just a skinny little volume, and it is absolutely worth your time. If you're not familiar with the Ernest Cunningham stories, the character is a author of how-to novels. What he does, or I guess how-to books, they're nonfiction. What he does, though the books are fiction, if you follow what I mean. But what he does is he writes how-to books for mystery authors, telling them how they should write stories and how they should play fair with their readers. So he follows the classic rules of mystery writing to make sure that the readers have all the information that they need to solve the crimes themselves. There are no characters that are suddenly introduced at the end and they're the ones who did it, and they're not sudden identical twins that you don't know about from the start, things like that. As he's telling you the story, Ernest, the character, is telling you the story. He's also telling you how he's telling you the story, and he's giving you some tips on how to be a better reader of the stories, and it's very meta, and it's playing with you, and it's also incredibly clever. In addition to all of the tropes and the rules, now it's a Christmas novel, so he's telling you some of the things that happen in Christmas mysteries. So he mentions that there will be cameos from characters in previous novels. You don't have to have everybody come back because that might be awkward and confusing, but a few well chosen, well placed cameos will suffice. And in costuming or weaponry or setting, there has to be a Christmas theme. Also, the detective, while solving the mystery, must discover the true meaning of Christmas. He lays out a bunch of other rules that'll make sense as you go along, and you'll recognize as well, even though you may never have seen them formally listed. It is incredibly clever, and it is so much fun. On top of all the fourth wall breaking goodness, this book is broken up into 25 short chapters, like an advent calendar, so you can read one a day if you choose, or if you're like me and Ernest, actually, you can just shove all the chocolate in your mouth at once. In the plot itself, Ernest is minding his own business, getting ready for Christmas, when he gets a call from someone very close to him who is in trouble. They woke up covered in their fiance's blood with no memory of what happened. And then, while Ernest is investigating the crime, a magician's trick turns deadly. And while Ernest is playing fair with you, you have all the information that he has. The solution is diabolically and delightfully elusive until the very, very end, when he discovers the true meaning of Christmas. And oh my goodness, it is so good. My gob was smacked. As an aside, the story takes place in Australia, and so it's summertime on December 25th. And that's as good as an excuse as any to listen to White Wine in the Sun and have yourself a good cry. If you don't know what that song is, you are in for a devastatingly wonderful and sentimental, and you'll really just quite like it treat. Oh my goodness, this song is so good. I will leave a link to it in the description below. Actually, I'll leave a link to it in the comments below, and you can share with me what your favorite songs are for the season, and also what your favorite books are for the season. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, whatever holiday you choose to celebrate. And please subscribe, and please have a great day. Bye.